Hi everybody and welcome back to the channel. So in this week's video I'm going to talk about some things that we can do if we find ourselves in a bit of a photography slump. So let's get out on location. So I found that this summer I've had 3 or 4 weeks, believe it or not, where I've really struggled to motivate myself to come out. So I actually had a 3-week period where I just didn't do any photography, nothing, not even a photo walk, because I was just really uninspired. But I managed to find a fix for that, and it's gonna sound really simple, but basically I got out there and I just started taking anything. So I think there's a phrase that says appetite comes from the eating, and I think that pretty much does sum it up. But what I'm going to do in the rest of the video, of course, is just give you some ideas about how you can just come out and find something to take. So my first tip is to look for something a little bit different, and I've come to photograph the area around this church/cathedral. I don't think I'm going to be able to do any video though once I get down there, because I think it's considered private. I'd have to probably get a permit here, but also the area around it as well. So I've managed to come up high, and I've noticed there's some steps going up here as well. So I'm going to explore that area. So it's about being inspired when you get out on location. It can be so easy to sit on the couch, get Google Maps up, scroll through different locations, look for shots that other people have taken, think, oh, it's not worth going, and then just stay at home. But I often find that coming out, like today, for example, the obvious shots around the cathedral, fine, but I've explored the area. There's quite a bit of noise going on in the background. I hope you can, it's not too distracting. So finding things that I wouldn't necessarily find immediately, therefore taking my time to look for certain shots, taking shots where I can also look to develop my photography skills, and basically just having fun looking for different things. So one of the other things that I've done in this summer, which I didn't do before, and I talked about this a little bit in a previous video, is really looked at the photos that I'm taking and how I'm actually going to edit those. So first and foremost, I've actually decided to embrace a lot more black and white, because I think sometimes the problem with summer is everything can be very green. And sometimes that just kind of overpowers the shot, or it doesn't look particularly nice. Certainly as we get to later summer, it can be a little bit problematic. So number one, just try some black and white. Maybe you already do some, but I would say just try and do more black and white if possible. Certainly I have done that. You would have seen this in the last couple of videos. So when it comes to color photography, depends really on the type of person that you are. Some people get a little bit obsessed with, making sure that the final photo does look realistic. So keeping the natural colors, etc. And I can understand that. But as I said, sometimes in summer, I think sometimes we have to compromise a little bit. Now, what I'm not suggesting, of course, is that you massively over-edit your photos. Of course, if you choose to do that, again, it's entirely up to you. But if you're not too worried about that, then why not just push the envelope a little bit when it comes to your colors? Play around with it a little bit. I mean, I recently created a preset where I've kind of gone with punchier colors. Again, you would have seen that in a previous video. And I just think that works really well under the summer conditions. Am I going to use that preset in autumn? Probably not, because it's going to look just way too much. But for this time of the year, when I played around with the different editing settings, for me, I was really happy with the results. So one of the things that I really like to do in summer is to look for details. So you can see I'm lining up a shot here with these lovely rocks that you can see. What I like about this is you've got some light and shade there as well. So in terms of the camera, I actually got it on the tripod because I'm shooting at f/16. It's giving me a shutter speed of 1/1.6. And what I'm trying not to do is, I certainly don't want to blow out the highlights because I'm going to lose definition in the rock face. The shadows, I don't want to go too underexposed because I'm going to lose some of the details there. But I would prefer to have the detail in the brighter parts. And if I lose a little bit in the shadows, it's not a major deal. But as I said, I'm just trying to compromise here a little bit. So at the moment, I'm not adjusting the exposure because actually the histogram is looking okay for what I want to achieve. So I hope that's been useful and maybe inspired some of you guys that have really struggled. As always, thank you for watching and see you next time.